Thanks for stopping in. Well, this repair pile keeps getting bigger. Let's see what we have here. A 362, another 361, an MS260, an MS261, a Husky 562, Stihl MS180C, an Echo CS 680, combi head for service, a two-man Hornet, a bunch of 026s, 024s, MS260s, a couple 261s, an 038, and a Dalmar 7910. Holy smokes. Where are we going to start? Let's start with this Husky. I'll see you at the workbench. Hi there. Welcome back to my workbench. My name is Erica, and I am so glad that you're here. Today on the bench, I have a Husky 562 XP. The customer who dropped this off said it's missing a bolt. There is something missing out of the muffler right there, and it makes a lot of noise. That's all he said. So I don't work on a lot of Huskies. I'm not a Husky dealer, but they do get dropped off here from time to time. So I'm going to give this a shot, and you're going to come along with me. So let's go find out what's wrong with this Husky. Well, here we are with a Husky 562 XP Autotune. So I think this is a 62cc saw. Pretty sure that's what that means. I'm just reading, there's a little sticker on the top of it here, and it says 60cc. Husqvarna, Sweden. Okay, so as I said earlier, I don't work on a lot of Huskies, especially these Autotune ones. He said there is a noise coming from this, and he was pointing at this side of the saw. So we're going to take a quick look, pull this clutch cover off, take a peek and see what we can see. Oh, those bar nuts are captive. Neat. So there's a piece of the clutch that just fell out. It's obviously been riding around inside the clutch cover. So yes, I suppose that would make some noise. I wonder who was first to come out with the captive bar nut, Husky or Stihl? Anybody know? Let me know in the comments. Well, let's pull the bar and chain off of this. Okay, so we have a broken clutch here. I'm going to go do a little bit of reading, research, and look this thing up. And yeah, I'll be right back. All right, well, I just did some reading on this, and it looks like they have redesigned this clutch. And then I remembered ordering parts for one of these for somebody once and them not coming to pick them up. So I went and had a look, and I found this. And it came with some instructions. So it looks like I just need a hammer and a scrunch. And I just hammer it loose. Okay. I just went and looked up the service manual for this saw. I want to see if there's any different instructions than these. And there is the proper instructions using a piston stop and a special tool to take this clutch off. I don't really like these instructions. I don't want to hammer that clutch off. Okay, so let's pull the top cover off this. I think we're pulling the recoil off of it. That's a pretty dirty air filter. What's that thing? Oh, I think I've seen this before in one of Scott's videos at the Greasy Shop Rag, where one of his customers had replaced the recoil but forgot to put this back in, and that wire got caught in the flywheel. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. So again, I am not a Husky expert, but are those supposed to be bent like that? And that be cracked like that? That doesn't look right, does it? Okay, let's take the plug out of this, but let's get that nasty air filter out of the way first. All right, I think this just snaps out of the way. Wow, that seems awfully dirty. Spark plug looks okay. In the service manual, it says to use, well, the Husky tool, and this is my Stihl piston stop. They look very similar, so I'm going to use this one. You can use rope for this too. These do work really well as long as you use them properly. So the proper tool to remove this clutch, I don't own it, but I'm going to own it because I love buying tools. I have a couple tools here. I'm hoping one of them will work for me. This is a Husky tool. That's the part number. But that is, I don't think that's the right one. I have this. This is for a Dolmar saw. I bought this from Makita Dolmar. And I'm pretty sure I paid $50 or more for this. It's crazy. So hopefully one of these will work to get this clutch off. There we go. We'll replace that rim sprocket. It's pretty worn. This looks to be okay. I'll grease this bearing up and then we'll start putting this thing back together. I've got a new rim sprocket here. There's the new one, there's the old one. There's our new clutch. And now I'll torque that back down. Okay, that clutch is torqued down. Not in a really efficient way because I don't have the proper tools. I am going to get the proper tools. But so looking at the old clutch, like they've obviously done something different here. If I kind of put that back together, you can see it. Like the material looks pretty thin there where it's snapped. But you can see the new one, like they've beefed it up maybe. Maybe there's a known problem with these. I'm sure Scott from the Greasy Shop Rag and other Husky guys would know exactly what's going on here. Hopefully I've done everything right. When I looked it up, this is the clutch that it told me to use. So hopefully that's right. I'll put this recoil back on. I know there's something's wrong with it, but I don't have any parts here to fix this, and he wants this thing back this afternoon. So I'll tell him what I've seen here, and he can get some parts for it. I'm going to clean this air filter up and just blow this saw off. I'm going to put his spark plug back in. Somebody was recently asking me if I knew how to gap a spark plug. So here is a gapping tool. See the 20 thou mark right there? The gap on that plug is perfect. Okay, everybody's seen that? Can't remember what the fellow's name was that was asking, but there you go. Okay, I'll go over and clean this all up. I'll be right back. Okay, this has been blown out, and this air filter blown out, but the air filter is not in good condition. When you leave them dirty and never ever clean them, the dirt becomes embedded in the fabric. So he should have a new one. I don't have a new one, so I'll tell him he should go pick a new one up. And he should probably clean it once in a while. Okay, so plugs back in, wires on, air filters in. I'll throw that top cover back on. Okay, so it was here for the clutch stuff, and he also said missing bolt. So that is missing. It's not broken in there. That's good. It just looks like maybe it vibrated out. I'm going to pull that one out. That way I can match that up with something. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can find a match for that. And that spike is also loose, so I'll tighten that up too. See if I have something like this. Remember this case from a few videos ago? I know a bunch of you told me that you went to your Stihl dealer and ordered this. There's the part number. Okay. That's the same thread. It's just a bit too long. So I'm going to go nip the end off that, and we're going to use that. There, how's that look? Went and cut that off and just cleaned it up. That should work perfect. The only different thing here is his factory bolt is a 5mm, and this will be a T27. If he was OCD, he may not like that, but judging by that air filter, I don't think he is. So yeah, it's a pretty neat kit. A good way to get lots of different pieces of hardware for a pretty affordable price. I think these kits are around 30 something Canadian, and that includes the case. Okay, so we'll put those back in. There, good as new. Okay, that spike is loose. Okay, that's tight. Good. Well, I guess we'll put the barn chain back on this. Well, there, I think I've done everything he asked for. Let me just check the tag here. Missing a bolt and a noise coming from the clutch side. Okay, so I put his bar back on opposite direction that he brought it to me, just for even wear. I did clean his bar rails out before I put it back on. And this has been greased, clutch replaced, tightened that spike down. So I guess we'll step outside with it. Just hear it run for a minute, and then this thing will be ready for pickup. Okay, well, I'll meet you outside. Okay, so I went outside to try to start this thing, and that bent stuff that we seen in that recoil, obviously there's a problem. He didn't mention this when he dropped it off. I just noticed it when I had it off. I thought maybe it would work. It doesn't work. So I have to order some more parts for this. So I'll get them on order, and we'll resume this video when the parts get here. Here is that Echo CS 680 that was over there in the lineup with the bent handle, and he was blaming his wife for it. So the handle's been removed, straightened out, and he also said the saw was getting hard to start. So we found it in serious need of maintenance. There's the original filthy fuel filter. The air filter was stuffed right up. So Tyler is just getting this saw repaired here, and the Husqvarna parts have arrived. So let's get back to the Husky. Okay, back to this Husky 562. I ordered new parts for it. Those pieces. There's the part number for them. Okay, let's get to it. Yeah, so I didn't think those were supposed to look like that. And there's what the new part looks like. So we're going to replace both of those. They call them a pawl. Okay, there's one replaced. That's a bit of a fiddly thing, actually. Okay, we'll loosen that one off. Just put that on there to keep the flywheel from turning. Makes it easier to get it off. So there's the screw. It's that little spacer that we don't want to lose. So that felt quite fussy to me to do, but I am unfamiliar with this. I don't see a lot of these. I'm sure Scott at the Greasy Shop Rag could do that with his eyes closed, but that pretty much took all my skills to do that. Okay, now we're going to service this recoil. I'm going to replace this part. And I think we'll replace the rope while we're at it. I don't know what causes that. Is that just normal wear on these? Scott or some other Husky guy would know better than me. This thing been pulled over 10,000 times maybe. Looks like it takes some force to bend those, but maybe not. So let's get the rope out of this thing. Now, if you're wondering what these are not Snap-on. These are Revlon. I'll just put the same knot in it that they had in it, which is just a, I don't know, little pretzel knot. I don't know what you call it. Okay, that looks good. Let's put this back on. Well, let's go back outside with this thing and see if we can get it started. Okay, I'll meet you out there. Holy, it's snowing out. Okay, so this Husky 562 starts and seems to run no problem. When the customer dropped this off, he said that it was missing a bolt, and we did find a bolt missing in the muffler. And he said that it was making a bad noise coming from the clutch area. So we found the clutch broken and replaced it. And then we found some worn out recoil parts, replaced them as well. And the saw starts and runs without making any terrible noises. So I've said it before, I am quite unfamiliar with this saw and with Huskies in general because I just don't get to work on them a lot. I am not a Husky dealer, and there are dealers for these all around us. So they would probably just go there for service and repairs. We are a Stihl dealer, so that's why you see lots of Stihls here. But I'm going to challenge myself to step out of my comfort zone and learn more about these. And when I see them come in, take the opportunity to work on them. And you can watch me become more familiar with these, working on them. So I guess that's it for the Husky 562 that makes bad noises when it's running. I have a whole line of saws over there waiting for me. It's time for a fresh coffee and on to the next chainsaw. Thank you so much for watching.